another twist in the Bloomberg investigation of Prudential Financial. It turns out that there was a secret deal between Prudential and the Department of Veterans Affairs around soldiers' death benefits. The story is in the latest issue of Bloomberg Markets magazine. The Bloomberg reporter who initially broke this story, David Evans, joins us by phone from Los Angeles. Now, David, we know after your initial reporting, Veterans Affairs started to look into the way in which insurance companies handled disbursement to the families of fallen soldiers. It turns out that the Veterans Affairs group had actually signed up to be part of this. Is this just a matter of not knowing what one other hand was doing?
Well, actually, what we discovered with the Freedom of Information Act request is that the decision that was made in 1999 to stop sending out checks and start sending out checkbooks that allowed Prudential to keep the money and keep earning interest on the money, that decision was made orally, yet the new information that we have is that there was a contract written in 1965, which we obtained, which specifically said, this was the contract between Prudential and the VA, it specifically said that the payments had to be made with lump sums, so that the verbal agreement made in 1999 was outside of this contract. Experts told us it violated this contract. So for the next 10 years, Prudential was able to hold on to billions of dollars, earning interest on that money, paying out a smaller, some cases much smaller interest amount to the survivors, but giving the survivors checkbooks while they kept the survivors' money in their general account. And we actually found out a number which we'd not learned before, that Prudential is as of June 30th, is holding $662 million of survivors' money, survivors of soldiers who died in Afghanistan and Iraq and veterans and other soldiers. And that's money that under the contract was supposed to have been sent out to survivors in checks. Now, we did learn that a year ago, in September of 2009, there was an amendment to the contract, and again, this was done very quietly, that said beginning September 20, the end of September of last year, it would be okay for the VA to allow that, it would be okay for Prudential to make these payments with checkbooks rather than checks. But again, that was not publicized.
Well, you know, David, I know your work has gotten a lot of attention in the Capitol.
Are you here all day? Are you here all day?
Insurance companies say this is all in fine print, that they disclose this. You know, CEOs I've asked have said as much. But we do now see a development here. It looks like your latest story is reporting that the Prudential will send out checks rather than checkbooks.
Right. Well, the very latest news is a press release that the Veterans Administration announced this morning. They had said on July 28th they were going to be investigating our findings. And there's some very interesting developments here, because what the VA has decided to do is to make prominent. Of course, one of the big missing points of these accounts that were being sent out, these checkbook accounts, was they did not have FDIC insurance, and that point was not made clear. They're now going to make that point very clear, they say, in the materials that are sent out.
But CEOs, you know, at other firms, I know AXA Financial CEO, I asked him that point blank, and he said, well, this is a matter of how things are regulated, because there's no federal regulator for insurance. So if there had been, then you could have federal guarantee of that. Is it a matter? Well, is it that simple?
Well, of course, we reported in July there's $28 billion in a million of these accounts at more than 100 life insurance companies. So with regard to Prudential, and specifically the policies that it provides for soldiers and veterans, they are voluntarily following the will of the Veterans Administration in making clear that there's no FDIC insurance in these accounts that are set up in lieu of checks, and they're going to make it clear, instead of they're going to make it very clear that people have a right to get these checks. They were asking for checks before, they didn't get them. Now they should be getting them.
All right, David, thank you for your reporting and for bringing us that update.